going to work, they closed down my bridge. And it was closed for like 6 months or so. So I had to go up a hill and, down. Well, they just opened it up, and this is what the subconscious does, is it you don't even think about it. I just went, instead of going the way my new bridge is open, I went the way I usually go because I wasn't thinking. It's really crazy how you rely on your subconscious mind to do a lot of tasks for you. Like I said before, and a lot of people said, like, think about like when you drive to work or school or whatever, you always take the same way. You don't even really have to think. The only thing you have to do is accommodate different things that might pop up in your path, and that's it. But you don't really you're not sitting here being like completely conscious about your drive, about everything. I mean, you're aware, but you're programmed to do the same thing every time, go down the same path, and I think that's when I was talking about people with Alzheimer's, is they get stuck in their same path because it's their subconscious mind. But it takes you being conscious to get out of your patterns. And you know what else is understanding your patterns and your paths is artificial intelligence. Now, if you look at, Tim Pool talks about how Facebook knows when you go poop and everything like that, based on algorithm patterns or whatever. The same could be said about, like, it knows when you wake up, it knows when you go to work, it knows when you do your shopping. If, like, for me, I always do my shopping on a Friday. That's my day off. Before, it'd be in the mornings because I don't want to deal with people, and then now it's later at night because I have a night shift. So it kind of throws AI off, and it throws your brain off too when you do something different, when you do something new, go down a different path. And I think that helps with Alzheimer's, is instead of kind of like being a robot doing the same thing over and over again, which it is good to do the same thing over and over again when you're doing your job or whatever. Like, there is good benefits when it comes to that because you do it right or whatever. But if you're not paying attention, you could screw up too. But I'm just saying, I think it's good to get out of your patterns and work different parts of your brain. And the reason we don't is because we're lazy. Humans want to take the easiest path. They don't want to take the hard path. They want to take what's convenient. And doing something different, being stuck in the same thing over and over again is just, I just think that, like, the same neurons fire, and you just use the same part of your brain all the time. Your neurons don't disconnect and then go to a different neuron. And then I just think when you don't use different parts of your brain, it pretty much just dies off. And I could be wrong. I'm not a brain scientist, but it just, what I looked up on Alzheimer's is the number one thing to prevent Alzheimer's is to be active, to be physically active. And that's like a huge thing. Maybe it's not the number one thing, but it's a huge reason to either prolong going into Alzheimer's or avoiding it altogether. It's just trying to work different parts of your brain, trying to go against the grain. And fire different neurons, ones that you don't use that much. That's just kind of what I gather from some of these doctors that talk about ways to prevent Alzheimer's or dementia. Just be active and try to do different things. Try to learn new things too. I think that learning new things helps out tremendously, especially something like a different language. That probably helps out tremendously, or a musical instrument. Like me, I'm trying to, since I'm probably going to have to work till I'm dead, I have to focus on keeping my body in good shape and keeping my brain in good shape. I don't want to rely on anyone else to take care of me. And that's how people should be focusing their retirement, because there is no retirement. Even if you're a boomer, like, you might be able to retire for a little bit, but you're gonna have to. You ever, like, you go to Walmart, you see these like really old ladies that they look like they belong in a nursing home, and they're in Walmart working. Why is that? Probably because they made some mistakes when they were younger. They made some mistakes with their finances. They made some mistakes with their retirement. And on all honesty, this retirement thing is like a new phenomenon it's been around, what, 50, 70 years or something like that. People had to work till they were dead. Most of, unless they were a king, but most people, generally speaking, had to work till they were dead. So that's just what I think is best, man. My limbs are priceless, dude. I've heard like people like, oh yeah, I'll take $10 million to lose a limb. Okay, but what do you do with that $10 million? You know what I mean? What happens if we go Mad Max style, and your $10 million doesn't mean shit to the community? They want somebody who can provide security, somebody who can do hard work, whether it's chopping wood or gathering or whatever, man. So they can look at somebody that's in physically good shape, and if he ain't got an arm, you're a liability to them. They ain't gonna take you in. You're not gonna be able to provide anything for yourself, because that $10 million in our currency, what happens if our currency decides, just gets inflated out of existence, and it's happened to other currencies. So I just think that your number one asset is your body, your mind, and your skills, because you might lose your job today, but you can find a different one tomorrow. And just being adaptable, I think that's a huge thing, is people adapting to whatever situation. For me, I can go into a new environment, I can adapt to whatever system they have, and if they want, I can provide making ideas to make their system better. But also, I can lead if I have to, or I can work by myself, or I can support. And you want to have that ability going forward, being able to do whatever they require of you, working on your own, working with the team. And it might change up situation to situation. You want to be pragmatic as much as possible.